Today I want to talk to you about your kitchen. I want to talk to you about implementing systems to make it easier for you to be able to make a cup of coffee, make your morning smoothie, or even make your meal for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Today we're going to talk about how to minimize your steps within your kitchen and create systems so that you're able to move around your kitchen less and really focus on the things that you want to get done. Let's get into it. Several years ago, I came across this video, and I'll link it in the description below. And basically, it's about how to engineer kitchens so that housewives at the time, this was I think in 1940s or 1950s America, housewives were able to effectively do their daily duties in the least amount of time and less effort than they had been. So most kitchens are made in a way that the countertop and the cabinets are within a specific area together. Now, in the 90s in America, islands became a thing, and you had these spaces within these kitchens that were specifically for food prep. And the island was the area where you would go and you would do all of your food prep, and then you would utilize the other spaces on your counters for other things like small appliances and whatnot. But the more and more things that we clutter onto our kitchen countertops, the less and less space that we have for prepping. So within my kitchen here in India, it's quite small. I'll be showing you some video content today of me storing things in particular ways to make me doing things in the kitchen more efficient and more convenient for both my husband and I. But I want you to check out this video. It's very interesting the way that they were thinking about this way back when, and I think many of us have sort of lost sight of this as we have started filling our kitchens with more and more gadgets, hoping to make our life more effective. But what I want you to do is today, when you're making whatever it is that you make, whether it's your cup of coffee or a smoothie or one of the meals that you make throughout the day, I want you to think about how many steps you have to take within your kitchen to just make that one meal. Now, maybe you feel like getting your steps in, that's a good thing because maybe you're not as active as you want to be. But if you really want to be effective at making whatever it is that you want to make in the kitchen, you shouldn't have to move around your kitchen so much that it tires you out by the end. If you get home from a long day at work and the last thing you want to do is exert a lot of energy to be able to make a meal, then engineering your kitchen, engineering the things within your kitchen in a particular way will make it so that you actually have to exert less effort to be able to make that really nice home-cooked meal that you want to in order to meet your goal of eating healthier. So as you're going through today, I want you to think about how many steps you make, how many cupboards you have to get into to get particular items for whatever it is that you're doing. In the intro video, you saw me. I stood at one place. The only time I had to move was to get water from my water filter, which is over near my sink. All the rest of the things, it was in that area. I could reach in one cabinet, on the shelf right there below the cabinet, and then on the shelf below that was everything that I needed to make my cup of coffee. Maybe you don't think this is a big deal. Maybe you don't realize how much effort you're actually exerting just walking around your kitchen. Another thing is not knowing where things are. Now, if you live with another person and that person puts things back in a different place than what you put things, then you may find yourself constantly looking for things. This happens all the time with utensils and other things like that. People are often using them and then putting them back in a different place. So finding one home for everything to exist and be able to go back to time and time again, that will also save you time and energy when you're in your kitchen. So a little bit of homework, see how many steps you take, and then in this video I will talk to you about how to reduce your steps in your kitchen and how to utilize the space more effectively so that you're exerting less effort and able to meet the goals that you want to. Part of the Tranquil Living System is to dream it and to visualize what you want to have happen, no matter what part of your life it's in, whether it's in your bedroom or the wardrobe space or your dining room. And today we're focused on the kitchen. So the first thing I did was I wanted to set the mood a little bit. I turned on some nice music and I just wanted to unwind and be able to go through all the different things Now, in true fashion, I forgot to take photos of everything before I started. So you will see the me going through the process of actually doing all this organization. So the first part of the group it phase is to go through and to group into the different categories. So pretty much everything in my kitchen is to be considered part of the miscellaneous. There are some towels in there that I'll get to later, but mostly everything else in the kitchen would be considered miscellaneous items. It doesn't fit in with the clothes or the books or the papers or whatnot that is in the other categories. So, one of the other things that you want to do is you want to first go and create some spaces in the kitchen where you can decide what you're going to keep and then what you're not going to keep. So I've created some post-it notes, as you can see here, and I'm gonna put everything that I want to keep is just gonna go on the countertops, and I'm gonna try to categorize like with like items as I go. I set a timer for 5 minutes, and I wanted to see actually how long it would take me to get everything out of my cabinets. So I started with my lower cabinets, and pretty much everything I'm just pulling out of the cabinets and putting onto my countertop here. Now, I would generally say our kitchen is pretty small, but if you see, I fit a lot of stuff into my lower cabinets. So all the cutlery, all the pots and pans, I try to categorize all the different things like with like. And as you can see, I only have one thing so far that I'm not going to keep. So I didn't really get rid of many things from the bottom cabinets. But here you'll just see me, I am cleaning out the cabinets and I am deciding how to store things. So most of the stuff I had already figured out before how I wanted to store them. As I continue to go through individual items, I decide, oh, there are some items within here that I don't really need to keep. And like this is the final of what I decided. So I just get into this groove of cleaning a cabinet, going through the different things that I know that I want to put back into that cabinet to store. If you are doing this for the first time, you can re-envision how you want to actually function within your kitchen. So I've already sort of created these zones, and I have my prepping zone where I have all the things that I need to be able to prep. I have my cooking zone with everything that I need to cook. I have a section that's specific to, making rotis and things like that. I've got these under the cabinet shelves. They're the black things that I'm washing here in the video. And they have helped a lot, as well as like cutlery holders and things like that, just to make small sections within the drawers. That helps to create organizational spaces as well. And you'll see me just go back. So this is all the cutlery that we have. I've got this nice empty cabinet, but it's really awkward. So this is something that I utilize to put things that we don't utilize all the time into it. So then I get to this point where I'm like, okay, I know how I had it organized before. It wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. So this is just some think time, dancing around a bit, trying to figure out how I want to reorganize these cabinets a little bit so that they're a little bit more functional. For many of you that know me already, you know that I've just started cooking this year. So now that I'm staying at home and I'm not in the classroom anymore, I've sort of taken over cooking, whereas my husband, and the last few years that we've been together, he's predominantly done that role. So I really wanted to think about, okay, what is it that I want to do and how I want to cook and how can I best organize. So like this drawer, for example, it has all the small saucepans and the stainless steel crockery that we have, and you'll see me storing the lids separately so that the pans will fit inside of each other, and then the lids will just stack by themselves. So I'm just constantly thinking, where can I put things? Where is it most functional? You'll see that I've put the larger of the pans and some other supplies that I use for prepping here, because above this countertop, this is where I do all the prepping. In this cabinet, you'll see that we have some clay pots, things that I use to make rotis. They're all stacked on top of each other for ease of access. And then the stuff that's back in that corner cabinet is stuff that we don't utilize often. This is all stuff that we use for food storage, which is right next to my refrigerator, because normally this is where I go to get the food items, the storage items that I need, and then it goes right into the refrigerator. These are the towels I was talking about earlier. We've got towels, and then I start on the upper cabinets. Now, before I was thinking I had a ton of stuff in the bottom cabinet, but as you'll see, as I continue to pull things out of the top cabinet, I feel like there's a lot more items from the top cabinets. And I think I feel this because there's lots of small items, whereas the big cabinets, the big items were in the bottom cabinets. So I'm just going through all my glass jars, making sure that each one has a lid. Those things that don't have lids, and I think it needs a lid, that I went ahead and got rid of some of those items. But I have a lot of glass jars. We use those as storage. You'll notice how many mugs I have, which is crazy for two people. And then I have even more mugs on the other side. So this is where you want to do a reflection of whatever you see as, the main items in your kitchen. Are you happy with that amount? Is it okay that you have that many mugs? Is it okay that you have that much cutlery? This is where you want to really be honest with yourself and say, do I need these things? And if not, then now's the time to let them go. So I go through again and I just clean out the cabinets real good so that when I'm putting items back in, it's to a nice, fresh, clean space. And then I realize that I have forgotten a whole cabinet and I need to take all the stuff out of that cabinet. So that's what I do here. I go ahead and take all the rest of that stuff out of that corner awkward cabinet, and I go ahead and clean that up again as well. So this is the actual final version of everything that is in my upper cabinets, except for my spices and my tea. So I showed a clip of that before. My spices are still there. And I had some dishes that were drying on the rack, and those are the under the cabinet things. So then I just start putting things back. Everything in that side cupboard is for parties and entertaining. It's a little bit harder to get to that cabinet. Up there where I'm putting things, this is all the stuff that I utilize for dishing out things in our dinner and lunch times. This upper cabinet here that I'm working through, that was the prep cabinet. And here I have all of our mugs for tea and coffee, which I will make a place for here. So and then I just put all my glass jars, like with like sizes. I use those black shelves to make more vertical space within the cabinet. Those work really well. And I clear all my teas out, do a nice big clean there. And then I decide, okay, I'm just gonna put this stuff back into this corner cabinet. This is all the stuff for my mixie and my food processor and things. I use some of them often, but some of them I don't use very often. So they go into this corner cabinet. So there's all my tea mugs. This is all of my mixer things for my oven, different things like that. And then I decide to put all my coffee mugs on that side. And this is sort of my coffee station. They're on the left, and then on the right, this is all my tea station. So I go through my teas, I go through everything just to make sure that it's not expired or anything like that. And then I start the spices, which did take a while. I had to dust off all of the spice jars. I had already went through and labeled everything on a previous day. And then I just start putting them back, all the seeds and whole spices to one side, all the powdered and ground spices on another side. So I try to keep like with like in that way. We have so many spices and so many teas, but we use every single one of them. So as I show you the end of my kitchen reorganization, I want you to think about how you can reorganize your own kitchen. What is it that you want to accomplish in your kitchen? What is it that you want to do? More importantly, what is it that you're trying to do that you can't do, or that is really chaotic and makes it so that you don't even want to go in your kitchen, or you don't want to make healthy food for yourself? So once you get into your own kitchen, follow the Tranquil Living process, dream it. What is it that you want? Group it, categorize those items, sort through what is working for you, what brings you joy, what is it that you actually want to keep. And then find ways that you can create zones within your kitchen so that you can store like with like and make it more functional for anyone who's living in your household. Check out my upcoming videos of me going through my wardrobe, and maybe you'll get some ideas from that. And I'm sure that many of you are wondering how much I actually got rid of in this process. It was only one small bin, but I'm happy that I got rid of that. See you guys soon.